You are a role model. Whether you like it or not, whether you know it, everything that you
Yep.
do is a model of behavior. Every sneeze, every question you ask, every respectful moment you have, every opportunity high five, every appreciation you give or lack of appreciation, everything you do, it matters. And I want you to have that hat on of role model and the responsibility of it.
You have to set the stage. You have to be the one that leads the charge, literally, on the adventure of we are willing to try something new. We are willing to try something different. We believe in this. Maybe it's never been done before. We're going to give it a shot because we think we can do it. So put that adventurous hat on and be willing to try and experiment.
I sometimes call it leadership speak. Leaders speak. They're
Mhm.
being political. They're not being transparent, etc. I want to see the truth telling hat on, and it's in all directions.
Yeah.
Leaders. It's not just all right. Bob Galen said I should be a truth teller to my team. That's the easiest direction. I want you to be a truth teller to your peers, and I want you to be a truth teller to your board.
Before we dive into this big topic, if anything we say along the way hits home, sounds like something you or your company is struggling with, that's okay. I help companies with this all the time, be it a CTO as a service, fractional help, agile coaching, whatever it may be. Reach out to me at kazi.io, Kazi.io. We'll get you straightened out.
Entry music. Da, 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 da. It's the Bob and Josh Show.
If you've watched our videos, and I know you have because we're on YouTube and you're subscribed, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Then that means
And if not, come on.
Yeah, hit the pause button and go do it right now.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult. I'm sure you've noticed that we wear hats. It's a thing that we do. Bob generally has a moose hat of some flavor. I've got my company hat on, one of a kind, one of one. Today we are talking about the hats that a leader should be wearing that they often don't. So this is a speed round of our classic, we pick 5 and go back and forth. So, in an attempt to be brief and quick and snappy, we're going to start with Mr. Snappy himself, Robert Galen.
So my first hat, a leader hat that we should, and not often enough, and should improve, is follower. Leader as, so read this Metacasters is leader as ... hat or attribute, and it's follower. And where it come from is many of you have always heard, in order to be a good leader, you need to be a good follower. I actually find that, so if you throw a team of leaders in a room and you say operate as a team, let's say it's a C-level team, not that I'm judging, but I am. They're not the highest performing team in most cases. It takes time for them to do. So meaning they're all leaders, but they don't have a good follower gene. So I want to see you follow more, quietly follow. Serve your team members, respect your team members, let other people lead, follow some of their ideas. In your teams, be quiet. So leader as follower is a hat that I'd like to see more of.
Okay. My first hat, just to kind of align with that, is listener. What I've found is too often leaders kick off a one-on-one and they ramble on for 20 minutes. And I'm guilty of that too. I have done it. I'm sure I've done it in the recent past.
Metacasters. Oh my God.
Yeah.
My eyes roll into the back of my head.
Yeah. Tell me about it. But try and start your one-on-ones off by talking as little as possible. Get your team member talking, sharing what they're concerned about, what their challenges are, what their frustrations are, whatever those are. Just listen. Start there, and then you'll have plenty of time to do the coaching and all that stuff. But you might be coaching stuff that doesn't matter, doesn't land, all those various things. So lead with listening. And that's hard because you've got things you want to do, things you want to address, but you gotta turn it around. So, okay, there we go. Number 1 done. We got through that fast, Bob. Let's see if we can maintain this pace.
I hope so. Leader as ... Dum drum roll, please. Truth teller. I see leaders. God, dare I say it on the Metacast? There's too much bullshit. thrown about by leaders. I sometimes call it leadership speak. Leaders speak. They're being political. They're not being transparent, etc. I want to see the truth telling hat on, and it's in all directions.
Yeah.
Leaders. It's not just, oh, all right. Bob Galen said I should be a truth teller to my team. That's the easiest direction. I want you to be a truth teller to your peers, and I want you to be a truth teller to your board. Does it mean, am I saying you have to tell 100% truth, whatever your perception is? No, you need to survive. Okay. You need to keep your job because you're doing something unique. You're developing as a badass Medicast influence leader, but become a truth teller. Tell more truth. And you know what? Josh always, oh, here's the plan for that, or here's the tactic for that. You all know what the truth is. Just tell. It's not hard. It's not complex. It's tell more. You know what it is. Just share it more often.
Yeah. I have a very similar one. It was a tough love agent / truth teller. And that to me covers like the 360-degree view. When I think of the tough love agent, that's more with your team. So to me, that's when you're being the coach. You think about some of the best coaches that are out there in sport, and there are times when their players don't love their coach, but that's okay. The coach is comfortable. The coach is okay with that because they know they're doing and saying the things that the team needs to hear. They recognize the team might not like it, but for the team to achieve greatness, there has to be a challenge of we can do more. We are better than this. Let's challenge ourselves. Let's do these things. Now, it can't be just foolish and blind and like, we're going to double our velocity for what, just making shit up, right? It can't be that. It's got to be well-intentioned, tough love challenges for people to growth, because growth is hard. If growth was easy, growth was natural, then you wouldn't need great leaders, right? So think about those times. Think about all the movies that you may have watched where there's a great coach of some sort and the tough love that is required to help that person achieve their goal, those dreams, whatever it might be.
Could be a TV show like Jean-Luc Picard.
Oh my gosh.
It could
Sure,
be.
it
That.
could.
So look for those examples. All right, I'm going to go with my third one. It's leader as colleague, and drumroll again, leader as friend. So when I was growing up as a leader, leadership is a lonely business. There were the Eagles pictures, on a mountaintop, and that's leadership. And you need to distance yourself from your team. And there's a grain of truth to that, and there's a grain of reality to that. But I think what's happened is we've moved so far away from that. Many leaders. I want you to go back to establishing relationships with your team. I want you to go back to understanding their lives, right? Individually getting to know their lives, their challenges, what's going on in their lives. Do they have? Is there an elder person that they have to caregive for, etc.? What's the birth? How many children do they have? What are the dynamics around their children? I want you. So, if I talked to my younger self 20 years ago, I would have laughed. I would have kicked. I would have turned off the Medicast right now. I'm like, these guys are full of crap. What? Right? No. Relationships. So put a leader as relationship builder, leader as friend, leader as colleague.
Yeah. Similar vein, but tying into some of the other stuff we talked about is guide. And what kind of hurts my soul, hurts my heart is I see this expectation for a team member to just magically become something they aren't, by saying, we need you to become X. We need you to do more. And I view this as very similar to watching my kids grow up and play sports. And, baseball's an easy one, where there's a pitcher and the coach just yells like, throw harder, you think the kid's not trying to throw as hard as he can. He doesn't know how, or maybe he's not capable. He just needs some coaching. He needs some guidance on, hey, here's some things I've noticed. Here's how we can help you get there. And there's not enough of that guidance, of that support along the way. It's, we need you to be a better team member. And it stops there. That's a very common one. And then you go and you ask that leader, what does that mean? What does a great team member look like? What are the attributes the characteristics, and it's like you're just a good team member. Like that's not guiding, that's not coaching, that's just like setting an expectation for this miracle to happen. That's not fair. So you have to be a guide. You have to help them get from A to B all the way to Z, and it's your job to help that happen.
I mean, I love that, Josh. Real quickly, I know mentor was on my list. Mentoring with a slash. I want to jump to leader as ... customer. One of the things I see in startups, one of the things I like about a lot of things I like about startups, and one of the things I like about startups, typically the CEO or the founders have an intimate understanding or a target of their customer. Usually they're a product. They may not have a product owner. They may not have a product organization. They grow into that, but they are fundamentally the customer, the voice of the customer. That's helping them with decision making. That's helping them with targeting. It's helping them communicate to everyone in the organization. This is our customer. They establish a vision. It's tightly coupled to the vision of what problem are we trying to solve. Very often now that goes away in a lot of companies very quickly as they grow, as they scale. They hire a product organization. Oh, that's their job. No, I think every leader needs to have a visceral understanding, meet with, understand the customer so that they can communicate that vision together. It's not just product's job. It's not just the CEO's job. So really do whatever you need to do to deep dive and have empathy for and understanding of your customer. Every leader should have that ability.
Okay, we are going to go into the wild. We're going to go into the jungle. And I bet Bob has worn in his lifetime, I bet he has worn a pith hat. I can imagine Bob the adventurer, putting his pith hat on, and I see so many companies and teams that struggle because of fear of trying something new, trying something different. And you have to set that tone. You have to be the adventurous one. This is another one of those things where I often see leaders telling teams, oh, we need to be more comfortable with failing or something like that. But then they're not comfortable failing themselves. So you have to set the stage. You have to be the one that leads the charge, literally, on the adventure of we are willing to try something new. We are willing to try something different. We believe in this. Maybe it's never been done before. We're going to give it a shot because we think we can do it. So put that adventurous hat on and be willing to try and experiment, because I see so many that as things get challenging, they tighten up rather than loosening up. So a challenge to all you leaders out there: when things get difficult, when things get a little scary, when you're not sure what to do, the right answer might be doing something you've never done before. So you have to be adventurous to make that happen.
I love that, Josh. I love the metaphor, the pith helmet, and in the jungle, and it's dangerous in the jungle, etc. But that's also, I mean, as leaders, it goes back to that. Leader is it's you're leading, you're in front, right? It's that notion of in front. My last one is role modeling, leader as role model, and it's continuous role model. It's when you step in the virtual door or the physical door, and when you leave the physical door or the virtual door, you are a role model, whether you like it or not, whether you know it. It does everything that you do is a model of behavior. Every sneeze, every question you ask, every respectful moment you have, every opportunity high five, every appreciation you give or lack of appreciation, everything you do, it matters. And I want you to have that hat on of role model, and the responsibility of it. And you know what? I'm going to give you the weight. It's weighty. It's weighty. I get that. It's weighty because you have to show up. You have to show up, and you have to be a leader every minute. You can make mistakes along the way, but then part of your role model is say, hey, you know what? Everyone, hold on a second. I just said something stupid. Josh knows this all the time. I just said something stupid. That was wrong. In fact, I don't have the answer. Right? I was just making shit up to sound important. I need to hear from all your voices. So let's redo this, please, if you could. Let's redo it. We need y'all. So something like that. That's a role model. Josh?
My last one is going to sound counterintuitive to all of the previous hats that I've talked about. So give me a little bit to work this out. I think there are some leaders that struggle with a hat of detachment. So we just talked about, hey, you've got to lean in, you've got to help, you've got to coach, but also you have to allow the team to struggle a little bit. You have to allow the team to fail. There's a lot of micromanagement that's out there that as soon as something goes wrong, and I know you've made it this far. We're 20, 30 minutes into the episode. You're like, but Josh, you said you gotta coach, you gotta lean in, you gotta listen. Now you're saying you gotta detach. Like, which one is it? Yes, it's all of them. It's both. It's difficult, but there are times where the most important thing that you can do is watch the team stumble, scrape their knee, help them up, pick them up, guide them in the next direction, help them figure out how they're going to address the same situation in the future differently. But you have to allow that little bit of struggle. So it is this ebb and flow of you've got to coach, you've got to let them fail, you've got to coach again, you got to let them fail, so there is this back and forth. And what I've found, because if you don't talk about it openly with the team might get confused. So be willing to talk about, like, hey, we're, hands off. You guys got this. I believe in you. We'll see how it goes, right? Be open about it. Talk about it. So,
That's
okay.
a nice way to drop the mic, Josh. I'm going to add one thing to it. Everyone, you might need a metaphor or a song that might come to mind. So know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run as a leader. So it's situational awareness. Kenny Rogers was a man far wiser than we give him credit for. Hey, Josh, so that was 10 hats. We
Yeah.
gave everyone a 10 hat gift.
Yeah, we did.
All right. Well, let's drop the mic on this. Everyone, and then let me get to the second verse. No,
oh my
I won't.
gosh,
All right.
thank goodness.
So, from beautiful downtown Cary, North Carolina,
and beautiful downtown Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina,
I'm Kenny Rogers.
And I'm Josh Anderson, thank goodness.
Shake and bake, y'all.
Bake. See ya.